Okay, so this is the first demo trial run for the grid tie inverter hooked up to my solar panel. As I mentioned before in the Instructable, I have two sets of solar panels on the roof, approximately 250 watts each. And right now I have a wire coming down from one of them and hooked up to the input of this inverter. So I want to show you now the code has now been adjusted to add the MPPT and the control. So when I turn it on, you're going to see the signal that's higher than the grid. I wanted to show you that first. And then, so the things I have control on is obviously turn on and off the unit, and then I control whether I grid tie or not. So the grid tie switch is still in place. It doesn't come on automatically, although that's an easy implementation into the code. So first thing I'll do is we'll turn this on. Okay, and you can see that the signal is there. It's in phase lock, and it's ready to be grid tied. So now what we're going to do, now that we know the voltage is ready, we'll go ahead and we'll turn on the inverter. I'll leave this on current so that you can see what's going on. And you can see that the current is beginning to ramp up. Okay, and we're at about 0.26 right now at 26.8. So what's happening right now is it's hunting around to try to find where the maximum power can be had at what voltage, because we don't have enough, there's not enough irradiance outside to give me the 100 watts that I'm going to limit at. So it's below that. So it's doing its MPPT voltage varying algorithm, where it's trying to let the voltage control at different half volt points between 24.5 and 29.5, and it's searching to get to the highest power level. So right now it's about 0.32 amps, so we're still below. So if we switch over to power, right, we can see that we're about 80 watts. Okay, and you can see that the voltage on the panel is going from, it should be hunting up and down. As long as we're below the 0.4 to 0.43 amp range, it's going to hunt up and down a half a volt, continually measuring the power and seeing if it's greater or less than the previous power reading. And this happens every 5 seconds. So you can see that we're about 83 to 86 watts. Now as the radiance changes also, the power will come up. And if it reaches the point where I'm getting close to that 0.42, 0.43, it's going to say, okay, I'm going to just current limit now. So there's no more, the voltage will stabilize wherever it is. And that's going to be the new voltage set point, because as long as I'm getting 100 watts, that's all I want the inverter to put out. So here you can see how things are running, right? So again, if I look at, that's my reflected, okay, and then if I look at power factor, that's my power factor, okay, and so that's my frequency, and then here's my current. So right now it's at about 0.34 amps. And it's controlling around that using the MPPT function. So 26.8, and then 5 seconds later it should change again, 27.3. 5 seconds later it's going to change again. It goes down. So it looks like it's going up and down right now, because it seems to have found where it's going to find the most power. Looks like there it went up a little bit again. Up, now it's going up some more. Trying to find the maximum power. So it comes up, back up. Now it's up to 24.9, right? So from here it went to 25.5, 26.5. You can see it going up and down. So it's now controlling, and we're at 0.44. So you can see now what's going to happen is because we're getting enough power, right? Because there must have been a cloud, right? So I'm getting enough power now to where it's just about controlling. So I just about have 100 watts available. So you can see the when the voltage is steady, it says that it's still detecting that it's at or above the threshold point. So if we move over here and we look at power, we're getting 101 watts of power, right? So let's watch this for a while. So right now so once you've reached 100 watts, there can't really be much maximum power point tracking unless you're just at the threshold of 100 watts. Then it might search around. Because basically once it hits 100 watts, it's just limiting. The PID controller is just limiting to 100 watts. It's only if it falls below that the MPPT will start to vary the voltage set point of the panel to find where under the knee or what curve based on temperature and irradiance is the best voltage for the panel to stabilize at for the most power, and then it'll go up and down a half a volt around that, right? But you can see how it's holding here, and again we can look at the power factor. So that's the reverse current, the reverse power. Okay, power factor is 0.99. And so that's it. I'm going to shut this off.